Welcome to the inception of your launch project. Over the next 10 weeks, we're going to be working together to build your website and your brand. Are you excited? No, you're not, because this feels like a task. And, so maybe you partner with someone to coach you through it and hold you accountable to get this done. And that might work while you're partnered, but it's going to be hard because you're not self-motivated. And you probably don't feel like this is a burning mandatory action that you have to take right now. And that's why you're here with me. But I'm going to teach you how to get your ass in gear and motivate yourself to do monotonous work, because that's what it takes to build a business. And in order to trigger any kind of change in your life, to ignite a new chapter, you need pressure. And this can occur in two ways. Either you're feeling the pressure to avoid pain, if that's failure or financial distress or shame or whatever, or you're feeling the pressure to achieve pleasure, if that's fulfillment or freedom or self-expression or self-worth. And that's it. Those two feelings drive all of human behavior. That's how we're wired. But those feelings create an enormous motivation for you, and you can cultivate them so you can use them as motivation to achieve your goals. So let me ask you a question. What happens if you don't build your website this year? Yeah, you'll do it next year. But what happens if next year your job gets more involved and your relationship needs attention and you miss that opportunity to build next year? You know what's going to happen? You're going to lose your momentum and you're going to lose your confidence, and you're going to wake up in 5 years or 10 years and you're going to say, what happened? What happened to those 5 years of my life? I'm not where I want to be. I feel trapped, or I feel ashamed of where I am, or I feel like a failure. None of those are good. Those are all bad. And I'll tell you what, those feelings will bleed into your health or your relationships. And eventually you're not feeling so good, or you're pulling away from people. It can spiral, and it often does. So what happens if you don't build it this year? Where are you going to be in 5 years if you don't do this? Okay. Next question. What happens if you do build it this year with me, and you build your brand and you build your socials, and now you have a place where people can see what your purpose is and what you're offering and why you care about it, who you are, why they should care about you. And it's beautiful and it's complete and it's professional and it gives you a platform. And then next year, you start growing your audience and people start talking about you. And then you pick up your first couple clients or customers. And then in a couple of years, it starts to take off. And then a few years later, this is your business. It's your legacy. But that can only happen if you commit to building it this year. And I'm going to teach you how to commit to it every day in this program. And the commitment does not happen without intense pressure, without considering the pain of what you know is going to happen if you don't, the shame, the failure, the stagnancy, or considering the intense fulfillment if you do, the freedom, the self-actualization, feeling like your life matters, like you're here for a reason. So with that said, I want to say that I am deeply honored to be here with you, because building a business takes a huge amount of courage and tenacity and faith, and it's hard. But it's also extremely rewarding, and I'm so grateful to be able to support you while you're going through it. It gives me a lot of joy. So let's start by stating the intention of this project. The intention of the launch project is to trigger a pivotal moment in your life path, because the work that you do in this program will change your life. Because we're going to look at the way that you show up for yourself and for your future and address anything that's been keeping you safe and stagnant. This is an opportunity for you to fully embrace your life and make the most out of it by taking ownership of your actions. So this is a big moment, and I'm sure that you can feel that energy building in your chest and tingling on your skin. And that feeling is your energy. That's your pressure. It's your willpower. It's your fuel, and you own it. It's inside of you. And we're going to learn how to pump it out when you need it, when you have to remind yourself of why you're doing this, because sometimes you're not going to feel like it. So I'll ask you to do an exercise with me. Okay. I need you to get comfortable. Close your eyes. Fill your neck out. Shake your shoulders out. Sit up nice and tall and proud. You can let your hands rest on your thighs, palms up, relaxed. And you're going to naturally breathe in through your nose and then quickly push your exhale out using your stomach like this. So not your chest, not your shoulders. Those should stay nice and relaxed, but just focus on your exhale like this. And then let your breath naturally inhale in between those pulses. So it should sound something like this. So if you want more power, you can also incorporate your hands. So it would sound something like this. And you're going to do that for 4 rounds of 8 exhales. And at the last inhale, take a nice long inhale for 4. Hold it for 7. And exhale for 8. Okay, let's try it. Ready? And breathe in. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Good job. This is a simple introduction to a widely used breathwork method to stimulate your nervous system, wake up your energy, and focus your attention. It oxygenates your brain and reduces anxiety so you can think and focus. And if you know that you need to take consistent daily actions towards your goals, but you've been having a hard time getting motivated or staying motivated, you just feel kind of tired and burnt out and overwhelmed, and you know you need a little fire on your ass to get it together and knock out 2 hours work at 6 a.m., this is your fire. So, sometimes it's really hard to talk yourself into being in the mood to work. That mental shift can be a stretch sometimes, but you can always use your body to flip the mental switch. If you can activate your body, that's going to stimulate your nervous system, which will kick your brain into the right mental state to get shit done. So I recommend doing this whenever you're feeling stuck to kick yourself into gear and prepare your brain for a productive day. And if you do it consistently, like daily when you wake up, after a few weeks, it'll start to become a habit. And it's going to help you keep your momentum while you're growing every day. Okay, so now that you're lit up and you're focused, I'm going to ask you some fundamental questions. Number 1, what is your big dream? Like, what are you offering? Who is it for? What specific services or products are you going to offer? Take a minute to stop the video to answer that question out loud. Write it down in your notes. Get really solid on that. And if you're not sure exactly what your offerings are going to be, that's okay. Just start with whatever the easiest thing is going to be. Like, what's the easiest product or service for you to start with? How can you start this dream? Next question. Why is it important for you to build this business for yourself? What experiences did you have in your life that led you to this path? So, for example, I had a dream to be a filmmaker that was unobtainable because I had a confidence crisis, which prompted me to learn how to heal that through a series of self-development programs. And now I use my filmmaking skills to teach self-development to other people struggling with confidence. And that is extremely rewarding for me. So how did your life groom you for your business? All of this happened for a reason. It all led you here. Okay, last question. How will your business impact your customers' lives? How's it going to make them feel? How are they going to remember you? Okay, so take some time to really think about those questions because the answers that you wrote down are the foundation of your business, of your brand, your values, all of your messaging and marketing and business development. Everything that you're going to build is going to point back to those answers. So, it's a pretty huge accomplishment just to have those locked into your brain. And in the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to program your mind to work for you, not against you, and help you achieve your goals. So great work today and big steps, and I'll see you in the next lesson.